I'd like to call to order the Wyoming Valley West School District work session for Wednesday, January 8th at 7:34 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Damascus, Mr. Hardwick,
Here.
Mr. Keating.
He's here. I'm trying to get him on the phone, Jen.
Okay.
Hi, Paul. Your name's up on roll call.
Mr. Keating,
Present.
Mr. McGinley,
Present.
Mr. Perfetto, Mr. Kubuski,
Here.
Mrs. Cassatt. No.
No.
Mr. Camus.
Here. A moment of silence followed by the salute to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag,
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Although this isn't a voting session, we do have a quorum present. There was an executive session held prior to this meeting to discuss two personnel contracts and a potential litigation. Mr. Tosh, do you have anything you'd like to address this evening?
Just one comment tonight, Mr. Camus. As a result of our 2-hour delay tomorrow because of the cold advisory, the Keystone literature testing will be moved to Friday, and the high school will be following the 2-hour delay schedule tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tosh. We have no interested citizens this evening. Moving on to committee reports. Mr. Keating, do you have anything you'd like to discuss this evening?
The only thing I'd like to discuss, Mr. Camus, is that
Mr. Camus, I can't hear.
manager is going to be providing the board in the very near future with the district's completed audit. The audit is once again favorable. And I believe I touched on this at the last meeting, but it's going to be the mission of the finance committee to take a really hard look at the district's debt service picture and, you know, the capital needs of the school district moving forward, especially, you know, a comprehensive review of our facility needs to establish a short-term and long-range capital plan.
That's awesome.
So that's most important right now under finance, Mr. Camus.
Thank you, Mr. Keating, very much. Mr. McGinley, do you have anything you'd like to add this evening?
I would like to make a couple of comments, if I may. And I just want to point out things regarding the policies. And as you can see that tonight on our agenda, we have many new updated policies that we're going to be looking at tonight and hopefully for voting on next week. You know, the team of people who have been working on these policies really deserve a lot of credit. You know, I participated most of this year, but initiate was done prior to my coming on the board. Mr. Tosh, our superintendent, Mr. Novraki, Ms. Troy, Mr. Dickin, and our attorney, they've really done a great job and really spent a lot of time looking at the policies, updating them. Many of our policies were well past the point where they should have been updated. So this is an initiative that they've taken on and they've done a great job. In addition to the people I mentioned by name, there's one other person who spends a lot of time working on this policy and getting information, putting things together, like our agenda this evening. contacting the Pennsylvania School Board Association, et cetera. Ms. Bullock does a lot of the legwork in the preparation and presentation of the policies that we see. So I'd like to just say thank you for all the work they've done. I think it's a great thing for the district, because as we all know, the policies are the guidelines for the district. So if we do a good job with the policies, hopefully the guidelines will carry the district forward and upward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGinley, and Mr. McGinley, again, I like to thank you because they haven't been updated in many, many years,
That's correct.
many years. And Mr. Tosh, thank you for taking this on because it's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Mr. Kamen, I'd just like to add, I would like to thank Mr. McGinley for taking the initiative since he came on the board to be so proactive with that policy committee, and being a former administrator in this district, he adds a very unique and welcoming perspective to kind of steer us along. In addition to his wealth of experience on a county level and some other positions he's had. So it's been a great partnership. It's been a great team. And the people that he had mentioned, I can't thank them enough. And I mentioned to Mrs. Bullock the other day, I asked her, I think we're about 3 sections away from having that entire policy redone. So we're looking forward to January, February, and March, and hopefully cleaning that up and having the policy manual completed before April or May. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hardwick, do you have anything on the special education this evening?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Dickon, do you have anything this evening? Under buildings and grounds, we're coming along, Mr. Tosh. Sitelog reached out to us and asked us for Martin Luther King Day.
Yep.
They want to take the ceilings down in the basement of this building
Correct.
to do the in-floor plumbing for the first floor bathrooms to finish them up.
Right.
So just so everybody knows, that's going to be happening over Martin Luther King weekend, to wrap them up.
Look down there. Come in.
That's really all I have.
But they still got
Mr.
work.
Camus,
I-
do we have an update on Third Ave on the relining of that pipe that was brought up this morning in the meeting?
I haven't,
Okay,
I haven't asked Mr. Cordes. I know weather got to be the holiday and the weather. I know they were gonna try to schedule him something before. I want to say it was Thanksgiving. It could have been Christmas, but I haven't heard anything from Mr. Cordes about it. And I certainly haven't talked to the company about it.
okay, I spoke with Mr. Cordes this morning and he didn't have an update on that. He was wondering himself. That's why I thought maybe you might have heard something. Site Logic also mentioned about the Third Ave infiltration. Mr. Cordes didn't seem to think there was any water. He hasn't heard from Barry over there, or our head custodian. So I don't know if anybody else has, if Mr. Dickton would know if he's been there.
Mr. Dickon. Not that we expect you to know, but do you know how the water situation may or may not be in that basement of your building?
The last time we were there, this is on, during a rain event, the basement was dry. There was no water permeating into the basement from any of
That's good.
the gutters now have been fixed. I'll check next time, like after this big storm, possibly this weekend or when we have a melt, but I took some pictures. It was dry across the board around the new furnace, and then the stairwell in that back old coal bin. That was all dry.
It's just be the bottom of those steps there then, really, that's it.
Right, that French drain at the bottom of the steps, because it's coming up to the door, but even that was fortunately still draining.
Yeah.
And I was there that day.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Dickon, if you could ask Barry to keep you abreast of that situation. You
Yep.
know, like what's going on down there, 'cause I'm sure he's down there pretty often. I know you're busy, so maybe you could ask him to look into it for you.
I will, and I'll share those pictures with the board.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
General recommended action items. Does anybody have any questions? Staff recommended action items. Does anybody have any? On the bills from Mr. Kuchar or the treasurer's report, is there any questions?
I guess I am looking at the site log invoices,
Mhm.
and you know what, I don't wanna get ahead of myself. But we're closing in on finishing up.
Yes, there's
Yep.
a, I think,
Okay.
yep,
Perfect. Thank
ESSER is completely done. Those reports have been, the ESSER funds has been completely closed out. The final reports have been submitted. So all the remaining site log amounts of money is coming from
Can you?
general fund. And I think it's about 1.1 million they still have left to finish.
A balance owed.
Yes.
1.1.
Well, they didn't bill us for it yet. Yeah, but once the
But yeah.
contract is complete, yes.
Okay. Anything, anybody have anything on the new business? Alrighty, our next scheduled meeting will be next Wednesday here, January 15th, and I promise we'll be on time next week. Sorry about our tardiness. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.